Warriors forward Draymond Green, he spoke for the first time since the November 13th altercation with Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves. Remember, Jaden McDaniels, Klay Thompson, Draymond, they were all ejected right after the incident, but Draymond, he was ultimately the only one who was suspended. So here he was speaking about whether or not he had any regrets about the situation.
I don't live my life with regrets. Like I said before, I'll come to a teammate's defense anytime that I'm in a position to come to a teammate's defense. That's what a team is. You stick together through the good and the bad. And I take that to heart. I take pride in being a good teammate. That's when I step in here every single day, that's number one on my list, to be a good teammate, number one. I'm going to be me no matter what, and that's not going to change. But in saying that, there's always a better way that something can be done, and so figuring out a better way, I think, is the consensus amongst all of us. But
thank you for that insight, Draymond. Perk, you've had some pretty strong feelings about how important this time away would be for Draymond Green. So what's your reaction now that he said that he really doesn't have any regrets about these actions?
Well, one, as expected. I didn't expect Draymond Green to come on here and come onto this first interview and apologize to the fans or to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I didn't expect that out of him. If anybody know Draymond and know what he's about, he said what he's about. Okay, cool. But the one thing that I was waiting on him to say was to give an apology to his teammates, right? And I understand him having Klay Thompson back. I get all that. But Draymond missing these last 5 games,
right,
it showed. And I keep telling people time and time again, yes, Steph Curry is the best player on the team, but that emotional leader, that defensive anchor, that extension of Steve Kerr is Draymond Green. And it was missed while he was away. And he's more valuable than fighting Rudy Gobert or putting him in the headlock and being on the floor. He's more valuable on the floor to the Warriors than he is off the floor. So just looking at this whole situation, listening to his interview, I expected him to say some of the things, but I was also expecting him to apologize to his teammates and his organization publicly.
Whenever I watch a press conference like this, I think who the intended audience is. Who is the person speaking to? Is he speaking to his teammates? Is he speaking to the public, to the fans?
Okay.
Is he speaking to Adam Silver and Joe Dumars, who are deciding his punishment? No. Draymond Green was speaking to the rest of the league, and his message was, I am still Draymond Green. I am not going to change.
Yeah.
If you think that because I got slapped with a 5-game suspension, I'm going to stop being rough, I'm going to stop being an enforcer, I'm going to stop playing the way that I do, you are wrong.
Right. When he said that you have to stop punishing me for the things that I did in the past, because he says he paid for those instances. He paid with other suspensions in that case. You can't keep suspending me, is what he said, for those actions. But you're shaking your head, Scott.
I know Draymond very well.
Yes.
I know Draymond. I've known him since he was coming out of high school back in Saginaw, Michigan. Spent a lot of time with us around the Detroit Pistons when he was at Michigan State. I know the young man. Draymond is going to stay true to himself, number one. Clearly. He's very prideful. And he has been this way his entire career. I have a message, though, for Draymond. What I'd like to see him do from this point, and he alluded to it at the end, he's got to think better in these situations moving forward. He has established a tremendous legacy for himself. 4-time champion, been Defensive Player of the Year. He's a winner. Everybody knows that about him.
Yeah.
But now, do not leave the game on a sour note. He's only going to have a few more years to play. He's got less years to play than what he's already played. So, Draymond, please, you're a smart guy. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so leave it the right way. Consider your legacy and make sure that this is the last incident that you have.
Because clearly, he's such a cerebral player that he can do that. It's the choice that he makes in the heat of the moment. And part of it is what makes Draymond. But how many of us have gotten in an argument and then you re-go through everything after, like, oh, I should have said this, and that?
Yes.
Potentially, there's some iteration, some version of that Draymond Green can do, because the Warriors need him. They're headed into a pretty loaded portion, right, of their schedule coming up here. Some of the teams in the West that they are in the mix are trying to to make the postseason here. Look at this. They have the Kings and Draymond's return, which that's interesting. We all remember the Sabonis stomp. And then the surging Suns. And then we also have a bunch of games against the Clippers here. Remember, games are also going to be added to the schedule based on how the in-season tournament all shakes out. So the Warriors, they currently sit at 10th in the West. Ooh. Are they a play-in team? Or are they a playoff team, Ramona?
They better not be a play-in team, because that's the most expensive play-in team out there. I mean, they made a whole case about Steph, Clay, and Draymond forever. Let's go all the way to the end, pay everybody, because we still think we can be a championship team. You cannot ask your ownership to pay for this amount of luxury tax, to have this expensive of a roster, and be a play-in team.
Right.
I think they're patient there. When I checked with them, there's no panic button right now, but they know something isn't right. Yeah. And I don't think you play this out with this expensive of a roster if they don't get it together pretty soon.
There's certainly some parts that need to get turning a little bit better. I was at the game against the Spurs on Friday where you could see the visual frustration of Klay Thompson with, smacking his hands together, rolling his head back when he was missing shots. And it's understandable because this isn't the Klay Thompson that we've grown accustomed to and that he's accustomed to. This isn't the way that the Warriors have been built to be. And we want to see them as fans continue sort of on this trajectory so we can see that last rodeo come together whenever that may be for the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. Let's talk about Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, who is from the Oklahoma City Thunder, is alleged to have relations, I'm going to leave it at that, relations, which is pretty much obvious, he's got his shirt off, relations with an individual who is 15 years old. Now, why am I the only one who's bringing this up? I get it. You see a lot of YouTubers bringing this stuff up. A lot of news broadcasts. And it was just announced that he's going to probably get canned from his cereal commercial or something like that in Australia. I'm not 100% sure what that is. But he might get canned from that. So why is it that ESPN or any other broadcast company is not bringing this up? You know what I mean? They're quick to bring up other stuff like Udoka, his relations with when he was in Boston, Brandon Miller, his situation before he got drafted. Malika Andrews was pretty much real quick on the draw to mention that. And Kyrie Irving. You have a bunch of other stuff, but now it's kind of like, why is this swept under the rug? Before I get into the Draymond Green thing, I was watching ESPN First Take, no mention. I was watching NBA Today, no mention. Now, the fact that you had airwaves to mention it, and you didn't, says something about your character, because the top of the hour for NBA Today was they were talking about Scott Perry, who pretty much joined the analysis team to, do the whole show. And top of the hour was Devin Booker and the streaking Phoenix Suns. Don't get me wrong, they're good. They're really, really good. But this is top of the news, 100%. This guy is 21 and this girl is 15 years old. Now, the bottom line here is, if he is convicted, which is guaranteed going to happen, with a minor who's 15, he could face up to 3 years in prison. The only thing you're going to hear is NBA saying, we're looking into it. We're looking into the rape charge, or not rape charges, but I wouldn't go against that, right? I don't know 100% sure what they're going to come up with, but we know it was relations with a minor. And in Oklahoma City, the penalty for that, according to whatever they had, pretty much they're going to do whatever it takes to not get that on his record, is 3 years. Now, 3 years for relations with a minor. That is what Josh Giddey is facing. And of course, Stephen A. Smith, Malika Andrews, Kendrick Perkins, any other big time person, is not saying it, is not mentioning it. Now, I am angling Malika Andrews because she is well known to do this kind of thing, to actually pinpoint on who she wants to talk about negatively in the media, right? And pinpoint who she doesn't want to talk about in the media. I'll be talking about this in the future because I'm the only one who's talking about this. As a, you know, some other YouTubers, I get it, they are too, but the fact that NBA Today, who's got a massive following, who has a big broadcast channel as an ESPN, is not mentioning it, I think we all know why. Malika Andrews, who is an activist and whatnot, is refusing to talk about this. We all know that you have a lot of pull in ESPN and you can get the job done, but you're not going to get the job done. You are not going to talk about this, and we all know why. This is the reason why everybody is commenting on my videos saying, don't ever mention Malika Andrews again, because this kind of stuff happens. She is pinpointing, she is making it look like a very bad thing against a certain demographic and not mentioning the other demographic when this kind of stuff happens. I think you guys all know what I'm talking about. It's clear racism. So I'll get into this at another time, obviously, because I'm the only one who is gonna. But let's talk about Draymond Green's comments. Draymond Green pretty much addressed the media saying, I have no regrets. I have no regrets on what I did to Rudy Gobert, and the fact that he is a good teammate, he stands up for his teammates. Don't get me wrong, he said all that, that's cool, but I think he obviously, the whole world knows he took it a little bit too far with the chokehold. That is the reason why he got 5 games. That's the reason why he got 5 games, and this is the first time he addressed the media. Draymond Green is the heart of that team, and quite frankly, you know, he's the anchor. He's the anchor, he's the emotional, the leader. Steph Curry is the greatest warrior right now. Unbelievable, right? Who knows in 20 years from now, but Steph Curry is that guy, but Draymond Green is this guy. You want someone on that, like that on your team to actually, you know, step up and show that you don't mess with the Warriors, kind of stuff that he does. But at the same time, you took it a little bit too far. Choking a guy and moving back, that is not good. 5 games for Draymond Green sounds pretty reasonable, but like he said in his press conference, he pretty much said that there's a better way to do things. Well, no, yeah, there's guaranteed a better way to do things, because what he did was unacceptable. You don't do that kind of thing. You do not do that. I get it. You're a good teammate. You stand up for your teammates. You say, hey, don't mess with us. Don't mess with the Warriors. That's good. That's awesome, right? I'm not condoning that part. I'm condoning the fact that what you did. That is very unacceptable, and you don't do that. 5 games was good. Let's hope he learns his lesson. And, you know, I get it. You might take things differently, a different approach. Maybe so, right? But you don't do that kind of thing. So that is the only clip I found on Josh Giddey, but obviously I found another clip like this on Draymond Green. You know what I mean? So you guys do the math here. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think about this whole situation with Josh Giddey and obviously Draymond Green. So leave a comment in the comment section. This guy right here could face 3 years in prison. Just saying, right now. Leave a comment in the comment section. As always, Jag from Jaggy Sports.